and welcome to Four Wheels Good, the programme that places you at the ringside of the motoring circus, just in time to hear the ringmaster cry, "Bring on the motors." In the show today, Ginny Buckley looks back at the Volkswagen Golf of old and takes stock of the latest offering, the Mark IV. And the most able car mechanic in the world of television asks you once again to tiptoe through the tricks of his trade in Inside Motors. But first, Ian Royle was sent over to West Yorkshire to investigate rumours of wild rhinos charging around the countryside. When he arrived, he discovered that the only things charging around were competitors in an off-road event called the Rhino Charge. The idea behind it is to show off your skill in handling your 4x4 whilst having fun and raising money to help build a massive fence to protect endangered rhinos in Kenya. And this is the first time it's ever happened in the UK.
This is Tong, just outside Bradford on a very chilly Saturday morning, and this is the start of the UK Rhino Challenge. Now, for the past 9 years, the Rhino Challenge has taken part deep in the heart of the Kenyan bush, but for the first time, due to public demand, it's been introduced to the UK. The Rhino Challenge is basically a fun event for off-roaders. Each team has 8 hours in which to locate 10 control points around the course, and then prizes are awarded to the best team for the quickest time and also for the most amount of money raised. It's all to do with sponsorship and raising lots and lots of money.
Well, this is the first time we've ever done this event. This is the first time in the UK we've ever run the Rhino Charge. The Rhino Charge is basically something which has been done for the last 10 years in Kenya, where basically you go to 10 checkpoints. The idea is to do it in the shortest distance possible, but not actually do it too fast. So safety is paramount. Here, because obviously England is a crowded country, we can't do that. But it's been modified to suit the UK conditions, and hopefully it's going to be a great event.
Do you think it's going to continue in years to come?
This is the pilot version, and judging by the popularity already, I think we're going to have a cracker of an event for years to come.
Now, you're in this trusty Land Rover today. What are you expecting from the charge?
What I'm personally expecting from the charge is no doubt to be towed out within about half an hour and retire to the pub. What I'd like to be able to do is complete it. If I can complete it, there are a lot of very serious off-roaders here. I'm truly in the amateur class, but hopefully we'll get round, have a bit of fun and raise a lot of money. And 471. Hands over that. 99.
Well, what do you think the competitors are going to get out of the day?
Well, they're going to get a very entertaining day from what I've seen that has been lined up for them. On the particular section I've got, they've got a little fun entertainment side, but obviously they've got to know what they're doing with the driving to gain the enjoyment out of it and the points which they're working for.
And how do you think they're going to handle it?
1 or 2 vehicles I think are going to manage it very well. Others, it depends how they take it. If they take it a bit sort of gung-ho, then they could find that they're going to come unstuck somewhere along the line.
So what they have to do here is the ball that's dangling down on the rope in the middle, they have to hit that with the windshield like they do there, and also onto the other one. And as you can see, the water is fairly deep and heading our way.
Right, the idea behind this one is to make sure the entrants know how to go through deep water. So we suspend 2 balls above the deepest part of the water. If they drive the vehicle correctly, they won't swamp it. As you can see, it is quite deep. I've got to drive now to hit this ball and then go through the deep part to get to the next bit. This ensures that we make them go through the deep bit. Sorry about the lumpy bits, lads. As you can see, we're up to headlight depth there, and it just makes sure that they know how to do it. If they go through too fast, they can actually destroy the engine by sucking water into the air intake. If they're doing it correctly, which is what we're trying to get them to do, they'll take it at the speed I'm taking it at, nice and gently, build up a bow wave and go through.
Well, this section of the course involves dragging a log around a certain part of the course. And as you can see, this Land Rover here is reversing down. The log is at the bottom down there, tied on with some rope. They're connecting the two together now, and they have to drag this log all the way around the course a couple of times. And this seems to be creating rather a problem at the moment for this particular Land Rover.
We're looking for a massive amount of money. We're looking for $8.5 million. But by doing the Rhino Charge, we're raising awareness, which gets a lot of people much more interested. And then the big boys come in and help us.
Now, obviously, the event in Kenya has spawned this event here in the UK, just outside Bradford. We've been around the circuit today, and it's a great event. Everybody seems to be having a lot of fun.
That's the idea. If people have fun, they don't mind spending money. If they don't have fun, they're not going to spend the money. We don't believe in dances and balls and things like that.
Now, there are lots of 4x4 events that you can take part in across the country, but perhaps none has the fun and, of course, the good cause that this Rhino Arc, this Rhino Challenge has. And it really has been a very fun day here in a very cold and windy Yorkshire. As you can see behind me, one particular Land Rover seems to have had a little bit of trouble. They went into the water rather too quickly and seem to have flooded things, and the electrics are rather wet, and they're hoping to dry that out. But hopefully they'll get going, complete the course, have a lot of fun, and at the end of the day raise a lot of money for what is a very good cause.
A very good cause indeed, and hopefully it'll continue successfully for years to come. Now let's travel with Eamonn O'Neal, a fan of all things classic. He recently took some time to investigate something that's close to most motor enthusiasts' hearts. A car that was once a common sight on our roads, the Ford Anglia.
It's the end of the line for 337 YFM, because today this much-loved 1962 Ford Anglia, resplendent in her Caribbean turquoise and ermine white, makes her final journey to a better place. For 32 years she's been a faithful servant to a loving family, but frankly, she's past it.
It's going to be strange when you look through the window and not see it there anymore, because, you know, we always keep our eye on it and look through the window, car's there.
It's been a very, very good servant to us, and it's been part of the family for 32 years. We took a photograph of it all the time. Wherever we went, we used to stop. We'd go to Calendar, we'd take a photograph of it. So we'd know, those were our memories. My dad bought it for me as a present. He gave his savings of £425 for that car.
The Anglia.
Yeah.
Oh, it's lovely, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Oh, I like that one.
I noticed they haven't got any two-tone ones. They're all one colour.
Before setting off on the fateful journey, the Hughes took a final nostalgic look at Ford's original launch film for the Anglia.
Remember your dad, when he bought that car, he said, look, we've got a deluxe. That's right, we never used to moan at putting petrol in, did we?
At $1.09 a gallon.
I think I remember once you having a good moan when it went to 4 and 6. Oh, and that wouldn't be allowed. Definitely wouldn't be allowed.
Sitting on the bonnet in the roof.
Especially with the balls.
But now the time had arrived for their beloved Anglia to take her final journey. Do you find people stare at you when you drive?
Oh, yes, very much so.
Oh, yes, we're like royalty.
Oh, yes, they stare at us, all right. Wherever we go, like comments this morning, a chap pulled up in his car and said, "Why, you look after that?" And I said, well, I have to, because it's part of me. To lose it after 32 years is it's a big wrench for me.
So you really do regard it as allowing her to rest in peace?
That's right, yes, very much so. She's old now, and
She's had a good life.
She's had a very good life, but she's old now, and she wants a rest, because she's been a working car. She's worked every day of her life, but it's going to a best home, because I never wanted it to be go to a scrapyard because I couldn't bear that, because it's been such a good friend to us.
The Hughes Anglia will be looked after by James Peacock. He started the Molesworth Motor Museum in response to friends' requests to take care of their ageing cars.
We look after cars for people for a variety of reasons. Molesworth's the sort of place where you can leave a car and be sure it's going to be coveted, if you like, you know.
Coveted indeed. Just look at this classic Lotus built in 1950 by Colin Chapman himself.
A lot of the ideas that he had that went into Formula One, which you know, people appreciate now and use, are in that car.
Is the Lotus 3 yours?
No, it's a friend of mine who's sadly fallen on hard times, and he was very worried about where it was stored, and we don't charge him anything for it. We just said, well, look, you know, stop worrying, bring it here.
All these cars have stories that reflect the love and loyalty of their owners. This is a 1930 Morris with under 4,500 miles on the clock. It really was used only to go to church on Sundays, and it stands cheek by jowl with a sinful Ferrari Dino. But this is a themed collection. The common bond is affection.
And Mr. Hughes from Chester with this marvellous little Anglia, you know, that's a car that he didn't want to sell or dispose of. So, you know, what better than to let other people enjoy it? I think he's enjoyed it, you know.
So 337 YFM is now officially a museum piece. James, you do the honours, please. And Jack and Margaret, it's a sad day, but it's not farewell, it's au revoir, isn't it?
It is. I'm very, very sad to see it go.
I've got a brand new Ford outside. Can I give you a lift home?
No, I think I'll take this one.
You can't.
No.
That's it for part one, but join us after the break when Ginny Buckley will be enjoying the pleasures of the latest Volkswagen Golf, and John Wright will be tantalising us with his morsels of mechanical mania. See you then. Welcome back to Four Wheels Good. Never before has there been a more fully rounded and streamlined way to enjoy motoring on television. Ginny Buckley recently had the opportunity to drive the newest member of the Volkswagen Golf family, and being a fan of its previous incarnations, she was interested to find out how the Mark IV measured to Marks 1, 2 and 3.
Here's a question for you. You're the manufacturer of a classic vehicle that's been around since 1974. It's topped sales charts in Europe since the 80s and has sold a staggering 17 million. Marks 1, 2 and 3 have evolved quite nicely to make it your company's bestseller, and it's captured the hearts and, more importantly, the checkbooks of motorists everywhere. But it's due a revamp, a Mark IV, to take it into a new millennium. So what do? I'm talking, of course, about the Volkswagen Golf. And the answer? Well, just take a look for yourself. Here's the brand new Golf, and here's the old. The new, the old. New, old. Can you spot the difference? At first glance, it may seem as if not much has changed, which of course is very sensible. If you're onto a winner, you stick with it. But take a closer look, because it's actually bigger, roomier, better equipped, and comes with a cracking range of new engines. Oh, and I've got to tell you, it's a bit more expensive too. But it's not as expensive as an Audi A3, and under its skin, this is basically what the Mark IV Golf is. So what exactly is new on it? Well, the rear end hatch has changed. The number plate now nestles in the rear bumper. The lights are different. There's a bit of colour coding here and there, and the wheel arches are bigger. But as I said before, what about those engines?
There's a large number of new engines in the range, and this one we're standing in front of here, the 1.4, is the 75 brake horse engine. It's all new to Volkswagen. It's a light alloy construction, which means that it gives much better performance and much better fuel efficiency.
So with the 70 brake horsepower, that's, I think, the 75 rather, the last model was 60, wasn't it, the entry level? So you're getting an awful lot more power there, aren't you?
Yes, you are. We used to have a 75 in the current range, but this will replace that as well. But as I say, it's much more efficient and gives better performance.
There are 8 engines in the range for you to choose from. The 1.4 entry level, followed by a 1.6 from the Polo's range. 2 1.8s from Audi, both 20 valves. You can wave bye-bye to the 16-valve engines from previous Golfs. The more powerful 1.8 will be the first turbocharged Golf ever, and both will be badged as GTIs. And topping the range will be a new V5, developed for the Passat. And for diesel fans, there are 3 direct injections to tempt you. The new Golf comes with a 3-year mechanical warranty and a 12-year guarantee against corrosion. And VW can offer this safe in the knowledge that they shouldn't get too many complaints. It's because every single new Golf has a fully galvanised body. This makes it a class leader. Many of you may have bought a Golf in the past because of its reputation for safety, and you'll be happy to know that on Golf Mark IV, those safety features have been enhanced. You have ABS, a collapsible steering column and twin airbags, anti-submarine seats, which means that if you do have a crash, these seats are going to keep you upright. There are pre-tensioners on the seat belts, a strengthened chassis and side impact bars. And all that is just as standard. If you want to drive with even more peace of mind, then you can opt for side airbags and also a 3-point centre rear seat belt. VW are also at the cutting edge of technology when it comes to child safety in cars.
Volkswagen's found out that 70% of parents do not fit their child seats correctly, which is a rather alarming statistic. We've been campaigning for many years for an industry-wide standard of a set fixing mounting points for child seats. Volkswagen is the first person to adopt this standard, which is called ISOFIX. In 6 months' time, other manufacturers will begin to follow. But for now, the Golf is the only car that has these as standard. I'll show you how they work. Every Golf on both sides of the rear seat has 2 metal hoops. These black fixing points go into the hoops like that. Child seat available from Volkswagen dealers, but within 6 months you'll be able to get them from other places as well with the same standard. You can't go wrong basically. At the back, pull that, 2 feet come out. Indicators at the front are currently red. Just slot them in the fixing points. Those go to green. Simple as that, you can't go wrong.
Safe driving, complete with little beetles on the seat as well.
Absolutely,
added
yes, little Volkswagen touch.
So the changes to the Golf should be becoming more obvious, but of course it's behind the wheel that really counts. So I took to the roads of Bonn in a left hooker to try out the 1.4 engine. And you can immediately feel the extra power that this new 75 brake horsepower 1.4 engine gives you. It's sprightly and it's keen, giving you enough power to nip around town and to give you a good blast out on the open road. It's not power packed, but for an entry level it certainly exceeded my expectations. As with the external styling, the inside of Mark IV is still unmistakably a Golf, although there is a bit of a hint of the Passat in here as well. It comes in 3 trim levels, the S, the E and this, the all-singing, all-dancing top-of-the-range SE. Our version has a few optional extras on as well, including this onboard navigation system. Extremely useful when you're driving around the streets of Bonn and you don't know where you're going. Although it's not extremely different, the look is slightly updated and there's still that feeling of German precision, quality and a solid build. After all, you are driving a Golf. If you're a Golf driver already, you'll absolutely love Mark IV. And if you're not, then you'll soon be a convert, knowing that you've chosen sensibly, chosen a car that won't let you down. Don't get me wrong, it's not that the Golf is dull, but it ain't a supermodel either. What it is the friendly, attractive girl next door, the type you'll probably be very happy with for years to come.
The Volkswagen Golf, a car which will always remain dear to the hearts of any motorist lucky enough to have driven one. I think I hear the sound of spanners clanging. That can mean only one thing: John Wright's holding yet another mechanical party under the bonnet of Inside Motors.
All you do now is wait for the machine. Once you've done one cylinder, you move on to the next and so on.
It's a nice bit of kit though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's excellent.
it's the precision that always gets me, is the precise nature in which you work.
Yeah, when you've got the machine, as you know, that's as accurate as this, it's really not that difficult to work accurately. You know, because the machine's so good. But you know, obviously there are a lot of different boring machines. I've used quite a lot of different types myself, and you can only be as good as a machine.
The quality of work that I've seen here is absolutely superb, and I think this bears it out. Yeah, I think that one's nearly finished. You ready for the next bore?
Well, what I'll do, it's probably about 2/3 of the way down that bore now. So as it gets towards the last sort of inch or so, I'll set the automatic stop on the left-hand slide there. I'll set that to a depth, and then the next 3 cylinders that we bore, it will automatically shut itself off, so that if I have to go over to another machine for any reason, there ain't going to be a problem, there ain't going to be an accident with the machine.
Right, we're back at the surface grinding machine, and we're going to have to put the block right. As remember, when we measured it when it was being bored, we found it was about 2 thousandths away from being flat, so now we're going to make it flat. Right, it's just about to apply a surface hone to the bore to take it the last 1.5 thousandths of an inch that we require to get the diameter. Put a bit of the cooling fluid on, and away we go. Now the hone doesn't actually make the cylinders smooth. What it does, it puts a fine cross hatch on it, so it gives a piston something to key into. This is actually quite an essential part of the operation, and most machine shops will quote you for bore and hone. Again, just check the dimensions.
John will be doing the do in mechanical terms next week. Also on the show next week, I'll be visiting a very special engine builder and restorer, Terry Hoyle from Malden in Essex, who's a specialist in the world of Ferraris, both modern and vintage. And Classic Car Yearbook author and car guru John Stanley will be back, this time with the amazing BMW 840 Ci. See you then.